Hello and welcome to BonkTable. I'm Mass, this is the Conquest Battle Report. It's been a while since I've recorded. I took the month of December off, a bit intentionally and a bit unintentionally, and I was just like, you know what? Armor Core 6, let's just play that over the holidays and enjoy myself. But 100k rework, I've been excited to get back into the game and enjoy myself, and we're going to go over the list I played locally yesterday. The list I'm playing is Quasiet Respect Inclusive, what is a list from Killian, a French 100k player, and who also went to Thiest this year for Worlds. We were talking, and he came up with this, and I was like, this is actually kind of interesting. I want to see how double Archangel worked. The name in English stands for Respectful and Inclusive Crusade, so I am very glad that I was included in this very respectful and inclusive crusade. I like this list a lot. I wasn't 100% sold on double Archangel right off the bat, mostly because it's a huge point sink to unlock. There are easier ways, like you can change your Skitarii to Militia Bowman and such, but the Skitarii are kind of your flex pieces in the list, so they're just kind of run around and do some work. As double Archangel Shield kind of played out, it was like, okay, this is actually good. Skitarii themselves are actually, weirdly enough, the piece I'm not 100% confident with. Their stats, you know, I kind of like them baseline, but for 160 points, I feel like there's a little bit, like, you kind of want a little bit more. You either want an extra attack, you know, to up to attack 5, or unstoppable. Unstoppable not being on the Skitarii and the Archangel, I'm kind of like, please have unstoppable so I can reroll my charge. However, they do have March 6 with Divine Purpose, so that first charge is 8 inches for a minimum of 9, what's pretty quick. And the Archangels are, you know, going to be walking on the table like 9 inches, and they're always going to have a 10-inch charge, which is also really good. So in this list, Thiest Priest, he's a dynastical ally. He's just, you know, doing Thiest Priest things. You got your double Skatats, is what I've been calling Skitarii. When we were playing the game, I played into my local Skillin, and we were just like, as I activate the Skatats, and he's like, oh god. So, the Skitarii, you're now known as the Skatats, and we went from there. Double Archangel with shield. The regen off the shield, to be honest, still has not come up. There was a moment there where I was trying to get it off, but it was more advantageous for me to activate a block of Crusaders first and kill off a unit than it was for me to activate the Archangel, get the regen bubble out, and then heal up the 6 wounds I was missing off my Crusaders. It was, you know, it's just how things are, and that's kind of my issue with this ability, that it's tied to a draw event, and not just like, hey, you hit, now you have a bubble of healing around you, like the Promethean, or, yeah, mostly just the Promethean. There might be something else, but that's the big one off the top of my head. That'd be kind of easier to make this work if you just generated a bubble of healing. And so if like you either started or ended your activation in it, you could get that healing and then move on from there. So you're a little bit more flexible. This is just how lists play and how you kind of figure out the kinks and what you find works and not. And this whole matchup between Skill and myself, who will be playing Spires, was just kind of seeing how 100k was doing. I played that game into Brian, which should come out before this one, and I made a bunch of positioning mistakes and how the list kind of performs, but that's just, you know, getting back into 100k, relearning the whole thing. So that's the first warband with the Thiest Priest. Our next warband is the Crusading Noble Lord. This guy's got Banish the Darkness for Oblivious on his regiment, and he has Get in Position for Flank. This is not what that's supposed to mean, it is Flank. Then he's got a unit of 6 Crusaders with Veterans to get that Flawless Strike. My issue with the poor Crusaders is that they're Clash 2. However, you can get Blessed on everybody, so it kind of evens out, and then they have the Flawless Strike, and it's kind of funny when you're like, alright, Blessed for the turn, and then reroll all the other attack rolls, and kind of smack a guy and do a bunch of smites. That's fun. Crusading Noble Lord, he gets a lot of work done with his Flurry and Cleave too. He's fine. This whole band, my one complaint is Get in Position is costing 30 points. It's 30 points. I was talking to Skillin, and his flank option is like 20 points. I'm like, god damn it, why aren't you 20 points? So, but Spires hasn't had their rework yet, so I have to stop comparing that, but I'm just like, oh, it's so expensive. I want those 10 extra points to put into other things. Next warband, we have a Warlord, Mounted Noble Lord with the Tourney Champ to get 5 impact attacks. He's got Brutal Impact too, like he does work. Then we got 2 units of Hellsol Knights and 2 units of Merc Crossbows. The Hellsol Knights will have advanced cavalry training, so they'll go up to Clash 3. They are defense 4. One of them is going to have the Mounted Noble Lord, and he projects an AH bubble of re-rolling 6s on the Clash and the defense roll. So 4s re-rolling 6s defensively, very strong. 4s re-rolling 6s offensively with their 5 attacks base, also pretty strong. Makes them a pain in the ass to deal with. And you can also give them Bless for a turn. You can give them like Evasion. You can make them re-roll Flurry on their command stands. You can give them Cleave 1 on their command stand. So, you know, there's a bunch of other options you can do with them. They're very effective. Overall, I like the list. After playing it, I made some adjustments that'll just kind of suit myself probably a little better, but I keep kind of the core identity of it. I was really glad to play this list, and I want to give a big shout out and thanks to Killian once again for showing it to me, and I'm glad I went and played double Archangel. Initially, I wasn't really like, Archangel's really good, double's real tough, but like, having the 2 18 wounds, defense 4, resolve 4, evasion 2 monsters running around, and double projecting divine purpose allows you to touch more things and get more threat range out, what allows you to hit more stuff. They're also the best Cleave 2 in the faction right now, so they do a lot. They're pretty good. I'm currently leaning running double Archangel after this game, and hopefully my next game that I will be playing in my timeline is going to be on Monday. This is recorded on a Friday, so I'm going to try that out then, and we'll see how that goes. Alright, let's go to Skillin. Here's Skillin's list. It's Directorate Crops. He's got a Biomancer Warlord with Master of Flesh, which gives him 2 activations, so he's going to, you know, casting 2 Biomancies or character, whatever crap he wants to do. He's got a unit of Deso Drones. Got to be careful with Deso Drones. They're AP1 with Deadly Shot and Volley 2, so they really just want to get up there, shoot you, do a bunch of damage, and even if they don't do a bunch of damage, they got that repressing agents for the -1 to defense. I do not like that. Please go away, sir. Surprisingly, totally forgot about this later in the game, they have Lethal Demise. They do kind of have, like, Defense 2, kind of a crap stat line. Defense 2, Resolve 3, and Wound 4. So they kind of just die when they're, like, engaged. But Lethal Demise allows you to kind of trade nicely. MSU of Force-Grown Drones, Siegebreaker, Incarnate Sentinels, the MSU. MSU Incarnate Sentinels is fine because they're Class 3 base now. And they're still, you know, 18 wounds, Defense 4, Resolve 3, and Evasion 1. Like, they have a very good stat line. They're also very quick at Movement 7. Like, this is a fantastic regiment. Next, we got the Biomancer. Running Avatar Protections and Attracting Pheromones, what gives flank. Once again, 20 points. There you go. This poor guy is in the Brute Drones. He's going to be hanging out, buffing people, and then getting his Brutes in. Brute Drones, still really effective what they do. That's the reason why they're restricted. And then double Strix. Still hate Strix. Next, we have a High Clone with Adaptive Flesh, so you ignore the first wound in a duel. Suppress Pain for Bastion, Disperse for Loose Formation in a unit of Vanguard clones. Probably the one with the banner. He has another one without a banner. And then 5 Sands of Marksman clones. So he's going to be setting up his shooting gallery with the Marksman clones, defending stuff with Vanguards, defending stuff with Strix, trading the Strix and stuff for positioning, getting the Vanguards to score and kind of cut some stuff down. His Brutes will help out. He's got Force-Grown Drones he can use as a shield as well. Deso for -1 armor. Where is it? Ferromancer for -1 armor. Siegebreaker and Incarnate's just ready to go to town on people. So my plan is, if I'm fighting any of this, I want to get the +1 evasion spell off from the Thiest Priest onto the Skitarii and the Archangels, so if I'm getting hit by Smites and Cleaves, at least I'm evasion 3, and hopefully I have to bless that turn, and I do a lot of work. Alright, let's get into the scenario. Here's the scenario we're playing today. This is Breakout. You got your 3 9-inch zones, and then your friendly objective on the left, and your enemy objective on the right. I'm just gonna say this right now. I thought it was swapped when we played this game. And I set up and we played, and I thought it was swapped. And your enemy one is always on your right. And I went for the left one. And Skillin was graciously enough to allow us to swap them, because I had already set up a bunch of stuff to go for that zone. So, in this scenario, accidentally played it wrong. That's bad on me. And I'll take the bumps for that one. For points, 3 for the ejector marker, 2 for the zone, 1 for seizing 2 or more zones. You get 2 if you kill the Warlord, and then the 1 through 4, you get an additional VP scoring the zones on the sides, and then 5 through 8, you get 2 VPs for scoring the middle, and then 9 and 10, you go back to the side. So you kind of want to do a refuse flank on this, as it's been called. You want to take over like 2/3 of the table. Killing your opponent's objective is really going to be really good. So if this was done properly, you kind of want to do this. So you want to, you know, have your forces kill that objective, take over that zone, and then take over this zone, and then kind of push your opponent outwards. So they only have one zone, you'll just kind of outscore them. It's kind of the best bet. You can do like a split where you just try and take each of the side zones just to hold it as long as possible, and then put pressure onto the middle to keep your opponent just kind of funneled into the middle. This works for some lists, but not all of them. Because what your opponent will do is they'll kind of push up, take the middle, and then they'll draw a wall on one side, and then push out with enough force to kind of kick you off that zone and wipe you out. And now you're trying as best you can to do this to fight over that zone. And if they've won, they'll just, I'll do it in purple, they'll just swing back after they've taken that other zone. That's kind of what happens there. So you got to be careful with that, and you have to have a list designed for that strategy. All right, let's go to the table. Here's the table we played on today. We have, I forget my table color coding, but that's fine. The blue one, I'm just going to do this in red. This will be my opponent's objective. Hold on, you know what? I always make my opponent blue. That's probably why I got this all fucked up, because I always make my opponent blue in my battle reports. So I automatically thought that was my opponent's. Fucking idiot. And then mine's in red, so kind of fucked that one up. We got our force, what's hindering and obscuring for a ho. Get the Christmas spirit out of you. We got 2 hills, which are size 2. We have these obstructions over here. And we got this water here and here. So you kind of got funnels right here. Yeah, you know what? I'll do it in orange. This will be easier. No. Purple? Just doing purple. So you got funnels there. You got funnels there that you have to be careful of. And then you got funnels here and here. So those are kind of the lane lines you're going to be fighting. But then you also have in this pink, like, all this open space and all this open space to kind of play around in. And that's, once you kind of break through one of those purple lines, you can start kind of getting into your opponent and such. And that's kind of how this game played out. So let's go into turn 1. Here's turn 1. I get both my Merc crossbows. Yay. My opponent gets his 1 unit of Strix. As we were playing the game, Skillin was like, "Are you cursed? Is this home cursed?" And I think it is actually cursed. I think the basement is cursed, and that there are horrible demons living in here. Because my God, some of our rolls were like goddamn atrocious for what was happening. So off the bat, I believe Skillin wins and tells me to go first. We're using the new how you start the game rules of whoever wins it can choose to go first or second. But because they won it, and even if they go second anyway, your opponent gets the bonus. I had the bonus for quite a while, but my dice rolls were shit, so Skillin got to choose for a little bit until my dice rolls were not shit. But yeah, Skillin makes me go first. I'm automatically looking to kill this objective. We have, we fucked this up. I still like, god damn it, can't believe I did that. But Skillin was once again gracious enough to swap the objectives so that I wasn't being a big idiot. And I start putting my Merc crossbows to start kind of looking to shoot that objective later on. Skillin looks to kind of counter deploy, looks to, you know, get into these woods, threat project this way, but mainly what he wants to do is he wants to start scoring that zone with the Biomancer's ability as soon as possible. That's really it. That's for turn 1. Turn 2. Okay. So I get my Crusaders, what's represented by these men-at-arms with the Noble Lord. I get my Thiest Priest, what's represented by the Steel Legion with the Thiest Priest. And I get my Household Knights with their Mounted Noble Lord. Skillin, on the other hand, he gets his Paramancer and his Brutes. He gets his Desos, he gets his other unit of Force Spirit Drones, and his other unit of Strix. So not bad. I believe I have a slight card advantage, and he doesn't. First things first, I kind of spend some time remembering from Brian's game not giving Skillin options to just kind of like run up and take table space by having my range units threaten him because he doesn't want to take shots anyway. So I put my range units at the bottom of my deck, what I believe was the smart choice, and I start running stuff up. So Thiest Priest and this Katots run up here to kind of start working. I'll do it in orange, like on this area. I put my Crusaders right behind my Merc crossbows. I don't run them, they're full. And there's a bit of me where I'm like, oh, I should swap it with the Skatot so they get their full distance and I can have the Thiest Priest kind of hanging out behind. And that might have been better. But what I really wanted to do and what I was aiming for, and you'll see it as the game goes on, is I'm trying to get the Crusaders in these woods on that zone, kind of fighting and controlling that with that big block. And I'm also looking, I'll do it in orange as well, enough room to drop an Archangel right here to support those 2 blocks. And I messed this up because I didn't give myself enough room to drop my second Archangel over here. So you'll see me kind of, quotes, fix the position on that one later. So I kind of move everything up. Household Knights, start to look to threat project over here. With the new Thiest rules, there's indomitable 1 bubbles from all the characters. With the feudal stuff, the Mounted Noble Lord will also count as Thiest, so he will project out indomitable 1 bubble around him. And everyone gets it except for the Merc crossbows, because sucks to be you guys. And that's kind of, quotes, one of the reasons why I want to go into longbows later on, is so I can get free veterans on them, because veterans at 12 inches is better than veterans at 8. A lot of things get within 12 of longbows, and getting up that +1 volley will help a lot. What else do I want to say about this? Yeah, so those guys are going there. Skillin kind of just moves up. He just, he's looking to get his Biomancer into that zone. He's got his Strix. He doesn't commit any of the Strix. He gets Strix there and he scores this for like 3 points or whatever. Ferromancer kind of using the water to defend himself. He will use that water. I'll circuit in blue to defend himself later. I myself, I'll do it in this orange. Now I'll do it in this like yellow color. I'm also using this water to defend myself in case the Strix come and get me. After that, I move up both Merc crossbows just within 8 inches of the objective. I shoot at it, and my opponent makes 5 saves from my 5 attack rolls would hit, and no damage goes through. So I'm like, wow, that's super great. Loving this already. So that's turn 2. Let's go to turn 3. Here's turn 3. A bit of a fucking around on my part, to really be honest. So, first things first. My opponent gets his Incarnates and Marksman clones, and that is it. So he has double Vanguard and a Siege Breaker still hanging out. He forgot to bring the model, but he has the base, so it's fine. For myself, I get my one of my 2 Archangels. I get both my Skatots, and my Household Knights. So, the things I'm looking at right now is I need to defend the Priest for later. I don't know where those Vanguards or Siege Breakers are going. So, one of the first things I'm thinking about is getting these Household Knights up on the flank here, and I'm looking to get them into the zone to start scoring it, because there hasn't been very much threat coming from that zone from my opponent this way, or this way. And he can't just move the Brutes forward, because they're just going to get absolutely demolished by like an Archangel or something. So I kind of want to get the Household Knights in there, and then also protect the Skitari with the Thiest Priest, because he needs to stick around long enough so I can get my Supremacy out, and I'll be happy. Eventually, the Strix on the left side here, they get like burnout and a bunch of stuff and charge into me. I clash back, I wipe out the unit, I take, I don't know, a couple wounds, lose a stand and take a couple wounds, and that's it for there. Keeps me off the zone, and my opponent will score that zone again, so we'll get another 3 points. For myself, from retaliation, just take aim, shoot at the ejector marker twice, get these Crusaders to run with Divine Purpose. I'll do it in orange, so it's easier to see. Over the Merc crossbows, and right in front of the ejector marker, so that the Merc crossbows can kill it and free it up, and then I can push out, I'll do that in orange as well, into this zone, scoring it, and trying to push back either Force-Grown Drones, the Incarnates, what else do I need? The Archangel is also hanging around in this location to give out that Divine Purpose bubble. I believe she was one of my first activations, just to get that bubble out to have that increase of speed. For her, I'll do it in yellow. She is just within 12 of these Household Knights for later on for next turn. That was a check I did to make absolutely sure, because I actually had them out wider to begin with, and I'm like, no, he's not going to run, like, shoot across the Skitari, and then kind of try and fuck up my movement or whatever. Because if he does that, he's going to get hit by, like, an Archangel. I'm going to kill those Brute Drones. And then I just kind of like hang out with my Skitari, hang out. I don't get very aggressive with them. I don't like kind of throw them up because I don't want them up. I want them to do cleanup after when the things hit my Household Knights. And there's the Indomitable bubble off of the Thiest Priest touching the Household Knights. The Thiest Priest is also within range of the Crusaders, so, you know, I'm getting all my bubbles. They're all overlapping, and I'm kind of happy about that. Yeah, that's kind of it there. The Archangel is either going to try and, like, sneak through this, or sneak through this to try and get there. My opponent positions himself in such a way that he's going to be using this water to defend himself from the Archangel, which is smart on his end, but we're going to see how kind of the lines hit. Let's go to turn 4. Here's turn 4. We kind of diddle-dally for a while. Like, my Crusaders are very low on the stack. My Archangels, I get my other Archangel, my opponent gets, I believe, all his other stuff. My Archangels are both very low on the stack. And my first card is actually the Household Knights. So the Household Knights initially make a charge into these Strix in the side, does a bunch of impact, kills a bunch, and then I move forward to touch the one stand that is alive. And then I do my Clash action, what kills off the rest of them. I take a bunch more wounds, and I'm left with 2 wounds on that regiment, but I am not broken, and I'm scoring that zone, so I'm very happy about that. Right side goes, I kind of just diddle around a little bit, and getting on the zone, trying to figure out the perfect spot, and scoring it. Because I know my opponent's going to try and come in with the Vanguard clones this way to try and contest and do damage. And I was getting really aggressive in my positioning to hit these brute drones, but I was like, no, if I hit those brute drones or position like that, he's just gonna hit me first, or try to, and I'm gonna be in a really bad spot. So why don't I just kind of hang out here? I'll move up the Skitari in such a way that hopefully I can swing into the side of the Vanguard clones and do a bunch of damage and kill them when they try and hit my Household Knights. So that's kind of the positioning there. My opponent, in response, you know, moves up the Force-Grown drones. My opponent's looking to get the Incarnates in, but he moves them up and doesn't go for it because he's just going to get stuck on the objective. And then an Archangel is just going to charge him in the side and touch him and kill him. So he doesn't want that. In response, I need like a 2 to get into him, and I roll it. I get in. I don't get inspired. I hit. I do a bunch of damage. I don't know. I kill 1.5, and then he just kind of hangs out. That is after this Unimog crossbow shoots and kills that regiment. In response to that, I start pushing both the Skitari and the other Unimog crossbows forward to try and be relevant for later. The Skitari move quickly because they're also within 12 of the Archangel. My last 2 cards are both the Archangels. My opponent is looking to try and move the brute drones out of the way. He deployed his siege breaker. You can't see it. It's that thing right there. Right behind the brute drones, and I'm like, well, I'm just gonna march charge in with the Archangel, lock those brute drones down. I don't care if I'm the water. I need that. I need to lock those brute drone down, and I need to not have that siege breaker get into me just yet. I want to start eliminating threats. I want him to kind of get stuck on things, and so far it's working. Marksman clones shot at my Crusaders and killed a stand in a bit, so that's what went on there. Deso drones, I believe they tried and shot into the Household Knights. They did like 2 wounds, didn't get a lot done because I'm in the woods. The other Archangel, I was thinking of putting here, but my opponent had deployed these Vanguard clones, and I was kind of like, well, Vanguard clones are most likely going to kill the Household Knights because they only got like a couple wounds left. So I'm just going to deploy my Archangel on this side, represented by the Ironclad Drake. He's just then going to just countercharge and kill off the Vanguard clones, and then the Archangel is going to fight the Deso drones and kill them. And then I can move the Skitari over into the zone, scoring it and freeing the Archangel up to just kind of like run across the table. And that gives me 2 units of more crossbows to kill off a unit of Force-Grown drones. So like there's layers of plans here. But that's turn 4. I score all 3 zones, and I kill the objective, so I get, this is 2 points per zone? Hold on. We'll find this out. 2 points per zone? Yep, 2 per zone. So, 2, 4. It's turn 4, so I get additional 2 for 6. I'm scoring more zone. I'm scoring 2 or more zones, so I go up to 7. I get 3 for the objective, so I go up to 10, and I'm scoring the middle for another 2. That's 12 points. So I think my opponent was at 6, and now I'm at 12, and I am on all 3 zones. So I'm already applying that pressure to him, where he now has to kind of kick me off. What I don't think Spires wants to do. They want to piece trade efficiently up and just come from downtown. They're like elves. I don't want to deal with elves. All right, let's go to turn 5. Here's turn 5. So we're building our decks, and I tell my opponent, hey, if I don't remember this, during the supremacy phase, I am going to bless the entire army. And my opponent goes, what? And I go, yes, I'm going to bless the entire army. And how this works is using Spirit Shrines. I get a free cast of any Thiest Priest spell, and I get as many successes as I need to get it off. I can self-cast Bless, what I'm going to do. What's going to give it to every Thiest regiment in the army. What's everybody except for the Mark Crossbows. And my opponent goes, oh, that's great. And I'm like, yeah. So if I don't say it after we roll dice rolls, I'm telling you now that I'm doing it. And he's like, okay. So we roll up. I believe I get first. The Crusaders activate and kill off the Incarnates. So they're dead. Now I forgot that I am already inspired because I have 5 or more stands. And I could have moved. And I could have tried and like wheeled my way to get closer to these marksman clones, or kind of moved in such a way to kind of get the Crusaders maybe more in the woods or whatever. But I probably wouldn't be able to charge anything out because this brute drone, I'll just undo that box. This brute drone at the time was still alive. So it's going to be really hard for me to get these Crusaders to charge anything else. So I would either have to charge more brute drones. And I'm like, nah, I kind of don't like the Archangel's already fighting them. I don't care. My opponent then counters with the Vanguard clones, gets into these Hustle Knights. The Hustle Knights use their Bless. They use their Indom. They only take like a couple wounds and live. And now he has a bunch of Vanguard clones who lost a stand due to burnout, just kind of hanging out. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I will deal with that in my own time. I counter with my other unit of Hustle Knights who are just kind of hanging out over here. They charge. I need like a 2 or a 3. I think I was 11 inches away. So yeah, I need a 2. I get it. I don't get any impacts. I clash. I kill off a stand. I take a bunch of, lethals. I have 2 health left, and I'm just kind of hanging out there with these Deso drones. And I was thinking about using my Bless on the clash, but I'm like, no. If he's only going to clash me with Deso drones, and the Vanguard clone's got to do a reform charge, so they're not going to get a clash that turn. So I should save the Bless for the defense rolls, because maybe I'll live. And that's kind of where I went there. Next thing, Biomancer goes. He starts popping off. He heals his unit like 2 health, but he doesn't get a stand back. He gives these marksman clones a bunch of stuff. They just shoot into the Skitarii here. I get like 21 shots, and my opponent like rolls 15 successes. And I just pick up the unit. They don't live. I was like, oh my god, please. So they're dead. I'm like, okay, cool. I'll get Archangel to activate. No, I get the other. I get the other Household Knights to activate. They kill off the Vanguards to like 2 stands. Then my opponent clashes the Archangel, who I decide to bless the attacks. Use Indom. I'm at like 7 wounds out of my 18, so I'm fine. Archangel clashes back. Kills them down to like 1 stand left, but it's also still blocking the Siege Breaker, so you can't get the Siege Breaker through still. And I'm still stuck in combat with that guy. Moves his Force Grown drones over to cover the Crusaders to make it harder for the Crusaders to get through, because he knows that I'm trying to get the Crusaders into his marksman clones. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, okay, well, I got 2 units of crossbows who can shoot those Force Grown drones. My Skitarii go. They just kind of... Well, my Thiest Priest goes. I decide if I'm going to cast Evasion 1 on everybody. Majority of the fights have already happened, so I don't really need to cast the command stand buffs. So I just cast Holy Fire. Like, I cast Evasion 1, and I'm like, wait a minute, don't cast Evasion 1. Just cast Holy Fire at the Vanguard clones, and then I can... Like, he only has 2 health left. He's just going to take a bunch of Holy Fire. He just picks up the unit and it dies, and then I just move the Skitarii over to where they currently are, getting ready to attack and clash the Siege Breaker once I kill off all the brutes, and it comes into my Archangel. At this point, My opponent, I believe, either has the Siege Breaker and these Vanguard clones who haven't moved left, and I still have another Archangel and double Marksman clones. At this point, my opponent calls it because I've collapsed the right flank. He's going to lose a character. I'm about to kind of collapse the middle. Like, both Marksmans are going to shoot into these Force-Grown drones to hopefully kill off a minimum of 2 stands, will allow my Crusaders to get into the Marksman clones and stop them, and then the Archangel is just going to get into the zone and score it out. She's the last card on my deck. He's bleeding cards, and the Vanguards are not going to live against an Archangel, even if she has to like kind of fight them a bunch, and that's going to allow me to kill them and then move into the Deso drones. And even if I don't score that zone, like an Archangel running through the backfield on that left side isn't going to be too good. And that's where we call it. So overall, a really good game. It was good for both of us because now Skillin has a better idea of what this Feudal list is trying to do. He was kind of like, wow, you have a lot of stuff just kind of popping off in a once per game blessed on everybody. And I'm like, yeah, it's pretty good. Household Knights being really tough to kill is really good. Like that one unit with the Mountain Noble Lord just kind of went from one side of the table to the other. He's dying on the way over there, don't get me wrong, but man, he's putting in a lot of work. That guy is no slouch. I'm really impressed with what Household Knights are doing currently, especially in Thiest lists. And it was a good game. There was a mess up on my end about the scenario. Still want to... I'll just do it in green. I'll just want to reiterate that. Like, that is a mistake on my end. So, next time I gotta look at the scenario a little better so I catch myself on that. Here's the score. I scored 12. I didn't count up the last turn. Didn't really matter. Skillin scored 6. Overall, I like Killian's list. I think it does really well. There is a variant I'm working on where it changes the Crusading Noble Lord's block of guys to Men-at-Arms, so that the Mounted Noble Lord reroll 6's buff will affect them. Because, you know, what's even worse is just having, like, they're going to be Defense 3, they're going to be Resolve 4, and they're going to be... what is it? Oblivious. They're going to have Indomitable 2, and then if the Mountain Noble Lord's nearby, they're going to have reroll 6s on the Clash and the defense. So it just makes an even harder block. And then instead of having Smites, you just put an Elysium Fragment, and you're good there for all the damage. So I was looking into that, because I wanted to get rid of the Merc Crossbows and put in Longbows, because you get the free Veteran upgrade. That's going to save you like 30 points. And they'll shoot from further away. They're probably going to get things within 12 as your Bricks are fighting and your Household Knights are fighting. And then they can take aim, use Arcing Fire, still be at Volley 3, and just kind of unload shots into people if they're close enough. Well, it's just really good, and also just touching people from further away. So I want to try that variant. Double Archangel I like a lot just because getting 2 Divine Purpose bubbles out, so you don't have to cast the spells, are just super good. Because once you lose that Divine Purpose, you get really slow really quickly, and it really sucks. But I do want to play this game again, but I want to play the variant I'm thinking and just see how that goes. So yeah, that was the game. It was really a lot of just learning how 100k is functioning, what I'm currently enjoying. The Skitarii, okay, so I want to comment on this. They're Defense 2, Evasion 2. They're Resolve 4. They have 4 wounds. Evasion 2 is kind of nice at times, but there are times where it just kind of gets overloaded and dies. The difference between them and Avatar is that the Avatar are Defense 4, Evasion 2, while they are just Evasion 2 baseline. You can get them to Evasion 3, what's fine and all, but it's just having that Evasion 2 baseline. So there's a bit of me that's kind of thinking about like kicking them out and getting more Crusaders. And I'm just kind of like, just making Crusaders have their, their Flawless Strike and just go from there. Yeah, like Avatar here, they're Brutes, they're 165, so they're only 5 more points for 1 more speed. Sadly, 1 less Clash, but you can also spend 15 points to get them up to Clash 3, so that they go from 165, 70, 180, so another 20 points more. You know, 4 attacks, 4 wounds, Resolve 4, Defense 4, and Evasion 2 with 2 impacts each, complete 1 and Support 2. Like, I don't know. There's this weird thing where I'm like, what do you value point cost for? Because there's times where I'm like, okay, we're paying something similar, but we're not getting something similar, please. But I don't know. I'm not a designer. I don't get to pick these things. I just got to figure out what's good and play it. So yeah, overall, like the list. Gonna probably get rid of Skitarii and get some more Crusaders. I'm liking Crusaders. They're a little bit slower for output and damage. They stick around nicely with that hardened 1. But they also have that flawless strike, and if you just get a bunch of 1s, you'll just start killing things. It's really funny. Alright, you guys all have a great day. Don't forget to subscribe and like and join the BonkTable Discord, and yeah, bye!